Someone asked me a question during the course of this Love IQ series, and his question is, can I marry a lady that is richer than me? This question is a very important question, and I will be trying to answer it in a few minutes. And I want you to stay with me because it is going to be very useful. Whether you are a single man looking for a wife or whether you are a lady that is going to be married, this response to this question will be very, very useful for everyone. So if you are new to my channel, I would want you to consider subscribing to just click that red, subscription button. It helps this project. If you subscribe, I'll be very, very happy. Thank you very much. All right, let's go into it. I want you to know that before the First World War, women were not allowed to work. Women were not allowed to earn an income. They were just regarded as homemakers. While the men go to work, they earn the money and they bring the money home. The women keep the house, they make the food, and they satisfy the man. And that was just how it was. But I believe that women were created by God to work. Having talked about the brain structure of a woman, you will see that the hypothalamus of a woman is larger than that of a man, and there is more concentration of the gray matter that helps in intuition. The women have this much more than the men. So I believe that women were supposed to work, but they were held in bondage by the men because of this ego that women have. But there was an intervention that happened around 1914 when the First World War broke out. The men went to the battlefield and there was nobody to work. At this time, the women were called upon as patriots to come and work. So they took the position of the men and they worked in factories, they cleaned the trains and all these things. Although they were paid lesser than their male counterparts. So the men wanted the women to be happy, receiving lesser income because they were not receiving anything before the war. So they were supposed to be happy, receiving a little money. But the women were actually not satisfied. So when the First World War ended, the men returned and discovered that the women were already working. So they got confused. So they tried to stop women and there were a lot of conflicts. So this continued on to another intervention that happened during the Second World War around 1941. So at this time, the women were called again, they called it war work. So they were called to help build the economy because the economy of nations were going down because there was nobody to work. So they called upon the women again. The women came to work. So at this time, they were allowed to work as engineers, as lawyers, and they worked in all walks of life. And at this time, you will see that women are now competing in a world that was designed for the men. And many women are doing this exceptionally well. So I doff my hat for our women. They are very wonderful. Now, this now led to the women emancipation program that allowed the women. It's still going on. Now it's far much better that women can hold any position like our own Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, that is the chairman of World Trade Organization. So that is what emancipation has done for the women. So I believe that this is how God has designed it to be. But some men are still desiring, to go back to those olden days where women don't earn income. And you see these men, when their women are making money, they get threatened. Because of inferiority complex, they feel that, if she will get more money, she will no longer respect me, I will just begin to feel inferior. This kind of competition is not what it's supposed to be, because in marriage, a man is supposed to leave his father and mother and cleave with the wife, and they will form one unit. So there ought not to be competition. She's earning more or she's earning less. So in answering this question, I will want to show us some things, the perspective of God concerning women, whether women are meant to work and earn much large salary, even at the same measure that the men earn. So follow me as I show you my screen. You will see the perspective of God in this matter. We are going to be seeing Proverbs chapter 31, verse from 10. And it's talking about a noble wife, a wife of noble character who can find. She's worth far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. She brings him good and not harm all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ship bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still dark. She provides food for her family and portion for her maidservants. She considers a field and buys it out of her earnings. She plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her task. She sees that all her tradings are profitable and her lamp never goes out in the dark. In her hand she holds the family, and she does the spindles with her fingers. She opens her arms to the poor and extends her hands to the needy. When it snows, she has no fear for the household, for all of them have warm clothing for themselves. She makes covering for her bed. She is clothed in fine linen and purple. Her husband is respected at the city gate, where he takes his seat among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies the merchant with sashes. She is clothed with strength and dignity. She can laugh at the days to come. She speaks with wisdom, and faithful instruction is on her tongue. She watches over the affairs of household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children arise and call her blessed. Her husband also call her blessed, and her husband praises her. Many women are doing noble things, but a virtuous woman surpasses them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty is fleeting, but the woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her the reward that she deserves, and let her works bring her praise at the city gate. All right, so when you look at this description, this is a virtuous woman described. This is the perspective of God, that the woman supposed to be highly resourceful and God-fearing. So resourcefulness plus God-fearing will give us a virtuous woman. So let me tell us right now that there are two classes of rich women. So when you are talking about marrying a rich woman, there are two classes, and I want you to pay very good attention. The first class, they are carnal and uncultured. Carnal and uncultured. That means they are rich, but they are not selling their products. Neither are they selling their skills. They are selling their body. They are doing some illegal things, and they are willing to do whatever it takes to sustain their lifestyle. So that's, or such women, the Bible or the scripture, call them death traps. So every man looking for a wife should avoid them with everything that you have got, because they are death traps. Then the second category of rich women, they are called, virtuous women. That's the one I just described. They can buy a land. You just saw what I showed you. They can consider any land and buy it for the family, from their earnings. They can plant vineyards. That means they can build garden. They can do all manner of things. They can do importation. They can do business. They can do trading. They can do whatever to earn income for the family. And the husband, as you have seen, the husband will be supportive, supporting her, praising her, nurturing her, giving her all the necessary love that is required, all the necessary support that is required. And let me say this thing now, that a woman is rich does not make her less a woman. Even when she's rich, she needs affection, she needs love, she needs care, she needs nurturing, she needs support of the husband. So as a man, don't be carried away by the money that you see. Don't be carried away by the fine cars or the house that she lives. Don't be carried away. See her as a woman that needs care, that needs love. And if you are willing to do that, and if you are confident enough, you can approach her and maybe you will get her to marry you. But please, before you marry any lady, I will refer you to the video I did last where I talked about how to find a good woman. It is important to do this heart compatibility assessment where you will discover the value system of the woman, the relationship of the woman, the experiences of the woman, the attitude of the woman. Because all these put together will determine whether that marriage will be successful or not. So don't just marry any woman you see driving in good cars. No, you could put yourself in a very big trouble because some women are really not, godly when it comes to, so they don't have values. So such women could lead you into problems. So make sure that you look well. Make sure you assess well. Make sure you look at her heart content before you say I do. So I hope you receive value in this video. So if you find any part of this video valuable, I want you to drop a like, and I also want to see your comments, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.